Beyonce for sure. I love her. I love Beyonce. Jay-Z too, I really admire the both of them.
Gene, the internet is losing its mind with one explosive question, shaking the entire foundation of the most guarded dynasty in pop culture. Rumors are swirling that Beyoncé is crushed, completely shattered. Court papers allegedly dropped a bomb, suggesting Kelly Rowland's son Titan isn't who the world has always believed he is. The whispers are brutal. Some are saying Jay-Z is actually his biological father. If that's true, we're not just talking about drama. We're talking about a betrayal so wild it could tear everything apart.
That time, I remember thinking, I can't be mad at her because that is what the media portrays.
This isn't just gossip. It's a ticking time bomb that threatens to rip through friendships that go back to childhood. Destiny's Child, the sisterhood that defined an era, could be on the edge of collapse. Beyoncé's carefully crafted image as the untouchable queen, flawless, unbreakable, untouchable, would suddenly look cracked, human, and vulnerable. One secret like this could flip the entire story of the last 20 years of music, love, and loyalty on its head with one shocking twist. Now picture the weight on Beyoncé herself, a woman who built her empire on loyalty, strength, and control, who stood tall through public scandals, messy confessions, and her husband's infamous affairs. But this, the thought that her so-called sister, her ride or die, might have carried Jay-Z's child behind her back is almost unthinkable. This isn't just scandal. This is destruction. Behind closed doors, word is Beyoncé is breaking down, feeling like the walls of her private empire are crashing in. Court documents, the kind that should have been locked away forever, reportedly surfaced, and the second they hit the internet, screenshots and leaks went everywhere. Suddenly, the whispers turned into a full-blown frenzy, and the world was locked in on one claim. Titan's parentage might be the family's darkest secret. Whether the papers are real or not, almost doesn't matter anymore, because the damage is already here. Just the idea alone slices right into Beyoncé's carefully built image, that picture-perfect world she spent decades guarding. The internet didn't waste a single heartbeat. They pounced. Side-by-side photos of Titan and Jay-Z are spreading faster than wildfire.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
People are drawing arrows, circling features, and flooding timelines with captions screaming, "The similarities are undeniable." The jawline, the nose, even the little smirks that look just like Jay-Z's old-school photos. For some fans, it's all the proof they need, and they're spiraling out loud. Others are brushing it off as coincidence. But the debate is viral, and once the public decides someone looks too much alike, there's no taking that back. And for Beyoncé, that's a nightmare. She's the master of control. Every image polished, every photo released with purpose. But now she's got her husband's face being memed into her best friend's son, and it's a storyline she cannot control. To make it worse, fans have dug up Kelly Rowland's 2013 track, Dirty Laundry. Back then, the song was celebrated for being raw, for its painful confessions of abuse and personal struggle. But now, people are dissecting every lyric like a hidden code. Some are convinced Kelly was secretly hinting about a twisted love triangle all along. Lines about betrayal, manipulation, and secrets hidden in plain sight are now being picked apart like hidden codes. Fans are asking, was Kelly using her music to bleed out the truth while covering it up as just another metaphor? Did we all ignore the real message because the reality was too wild to even believe?
You understand? I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public.
Industry insiders are quick to remind us that artists constantly slip real-life confessions into their art. And now, Dirty Laundry feels less like a song and more like a breadcrumb trail we were never supposed to follow. Until now. And then comes the money talk, the rumor that turned the internet upside down. Word is Jay-Z has been quietly funneling payments to Kelly's family since 2014, the very same year Titan was born. That detail alone has the blogs exploding. Were these just generous Godfather gestures? Or were they calculated hush payments, cash meant to keep a dangerous truth locked away? The timing is too sharp to ignore, and fans are dissecting every angle like detectives with a case file. But the real dagger is this. If Jay-Z was cutting checks all this time, how much did Beyoncé know? Was she fully in on the silence, holding the empire together at any cost? Or was she the one left in the dark, betrayed in her own house while smiling for the cameras? For nearly 10 years, the world has seen Beyoncé as the ultimate figure of control, the queen who commands every move, every headline, every image. But this rumor shakes that crown. It feeds into a fear fans can't let go of, that even the strongest can be taken down. Not by rivals, not by outsiders, but from within their own circle. This revelation doesn't stand alone. It drags Jay-Z's entire history back into the spotlight. We all know his past is messy, full of affairs and unresolved scandals. He's admitted to stepping out on Beyoncé, even using music as his therapy when their marriage was hanging by a thread. Entire albums, hers and his, were built on confession, heartbreak, and survival. But if Titan really is his son, that flips everything upside down. This isn't just about a husband straying. This is about a decade-long deception, a betrayal so deep it would cut not only Beyoncé, but also the woman she's always called her sister. How do you come back from that? That's not just a marriage on the line. That's the destruction of trust that held an empire together. And the fallout wouldn't stop at the marriage. Destiny's Child, the group that became a symbol of loyalty, unity, and sisterhood, would suddenly look like a stage play covering up heartbreak. Fans who grew up idolizing that bond are now questioning everything. Was every hug, every laugh, every flawless performance hiding an unbearable truth?
Educated gangster rapper, that's all she could come up.
People are even digging through old interviews, rewinding moments that once felt innocent. Like the time Kelly left a dinner with Beyoncé and Jay-Z in tears. No explanation, no reason given. Back then, fans thought it was just nostalgia, emotions running high. But now, that moment is being reframed as a crack in the mask, a night where secrets almost spilled over, and the internet isn't stopping there. Every red carpet run-in, every cryptic stare, every awkward exchange between Kelly and Jay-Z is being replayed like evidence in a trial. The clip where Jay-Z looked stunned bumping into Kelly at a premiere, was that genuine sibling warmth? Or was it the shock of facing someone tied to a truth he's been desperate to keep buried? That's the image the media has always sold us, and here's where the brutal irony kicks in. Just months ago, Kelly was on camera showering Jay-Z with praise after he blasted the Grammys for snubbing Beyoncé. She told reporters, "Sean Carter is one of the greatest men I know, and his words ring so loud to me." Back then, it sounded like loyalty and respect. But now, that clip is haunting. Fans are replaying it with a chilling undertone. Was she protecting him, covering for him, or just speaking as a loyal friend caught in the middle of a storm she never asked for? The internet doesn't let a single coincidence slide, and that quote has turned into another piece of the puzzle. Every word is now fuel for theories about how deep these bonds and these betrayals might run. And if the whispers are true about Jay-Z funneling money since Titan's birth, the real question hits even harder. Has Beyoncé known all along? Was she silently absorbing this chaos for years, protecting her brand, her children, her empire, while living a performance more elaborate than any stage show? Or is she discovering it like the rest of us? Through rumors, leaks, and viral screenshots? Either way, the picture is devastating. If she knew, then every smile, every red carpet pose, every carefully crafted family moment was part of a bigger illusion. A masterclass in keeping the world fooled while privately enduring heartbreak. But if she didn't know, then Beyoncé, the woman who built her empire on total control, has been blindsided in the most personal and humiliating way possible. And through it all, silence, no statements, no denials, no clarifications. That silence only makes the tension thicker, heavier, more suffocating. And fans are asking the question no one wants to face. If this rumor refuses to die, what happens to Destiny's Child? That once legendary image of three sisters standing united against the world is already cracking under the weight of speculation. Beyoncé, Kelly, and Michelle built more than just a girl group. They built a brand, a sisterhood that survived chart rivalries, solo success, and decades in the spotlight. But if Jay-Z is truly tied to Titan, that nostalgia can never be the same. Fans who once saw Destiny's Child as untouchable role models are now questioning if the sisterhood was just a glossy cover, hiding a reality that was far more complicated, even twisted behind the scenes. For Beyoncé, this is bigger than music. This is about legacy, about her marriage, her motherhood, and the empire she's spent decades building. Can a dynasty that prides itself on perfection survive secrets that feel too heavy to ever stay buried? And when you zoom out from the Titan rumors, the pattern looks even darker. Jay-Z has never been a stranger to whispers about secret children and hidden liaisons.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past, okay?
Long before Titan's name hit the blogs, there was Ramir, a young man who spent years fighting in court, claiming Jay-Z was his biological father. The case dragged through endless appeals, with Ramir insisting he was being crushed by money and legal power. Back then, people dismissed it as opportunism. But now, with Titan's story shaking the culture, those headlines are crawling back, stitched together into a narrative fans can't ignore. Paints Jay-Z not just as a music mogul, but as a man who mastered the art of burying scandals before they bloomed. And that's not the only storm cloud. Allegations from the late 90s and early 2000s are being dragged out of the vault too. The most controversial, whispers that Jay-Z blurred boundaries with younger women in the industry. Nas even threw shots in his infamous diss track, dropping bars that implied Jay crossed lines with protégés like Foxy Brown. She's publicly denied it over and over, calling it nothing but fake news. Yet the whispers won't die. Let's point out how Jay-Z was nearly 30 when he was appearing side by side with teenage artists, how he blurred the line between mentor and partner. And in the shadow of the Titan scandal, it all looks way more unsettling. Now, the question echoing online is simple but heavy. Has Jay-Z's whole career been fueled by a pattern of control, secrecy, and manipulation that the industry was too scared or too invested to expose? And let's not forget, the public's trust in Jay-Z has been cracked before. His own music gave us confessions of infidelity, moments where he admitted he almost lost Beyoncé. That saga, told through Lemonade and 444, was sold to us as a redemption arc, the sinner repenting, the queen forgiving, the marriage surviving. But if Titan is really his son, that redemption arc shatters. Suddenly, it's not a story of growth and forgiveness. It's a cover-up, a performance, a survival tactic to protect an empire built on secrets. This was never about redemption. It was about concealment. What fans are now starting to believe is that Jay-Z's pattern isn't growth. It's survival. Not learning from mistakes, but mastering the art of burying them until the headlines fade. And with every old rumor dragged back into the light, the cracks in his king-like image are growing deeper, wider, and impossible to ignore. And that takes us straight into Beyoncé's family, because silence this loud usually means somebody is working overtime to hold the pieces together. At the heart of that is Tina Knowles, the matriarch, not just of Beyoncé's world, but of Destiny's Child as a whole. She's long embraced Kelly Rowland as her own daughter, writing glowing tributes, calling her family, presenting herself as the glue that bound this surrogate sisterhood together. But now, fans are side-eyeing Tina's role with suspicion. Could she have known more than she ever let on? Did her instinct to protect Beyoncé's empire lead her to shield Jay-Z from scrutiny? And by extension, push Kelly into silence? It wouldn't be the first time a powerful matriarch orchestrated a cover-up behind closed doors. Suddenly, every polished family photo, every heartfelt tribute, every united front moment is carrying a shadow, the shadow of possible damage control. The real question is chilling. Has Tina been the quiet architect of the Carter Knowles image, managing not just Beyoncé's career, but also the inconvenient truths that threatened to unravel it all? We've all seen Tina fiercely defend her daughter from critics and celebrate Jay-Z with glowing words. That loyalty has always been framed as love, but now it's being dissected as strategy. Think about it. If Tina knew Titan's secret, keeping the family brand intact would have required silence at any cost. And that's where the betrayal cuts even deeper, because for Beyoncé, being blindsided by her husband is bad enough. But to realize her mother might have been complicit, that shifts this scandal from marital drama into something generational. It suggests the entire Carter Knowles dynasty has been sitting on a truth too explosive for public consumption. And while this storm rages, Jay-Z's connections are dragging him further into suspicion. His long-standing ties with controversial figures like Sean Diddy Combs are now being re-examined under a harsh spotlight. Every time new allegations surface around Diddy, Jay-Z's name somehow drifts at the edges, sometimes mentioned, sometimes mysteriously scrubbed from filings. Fans can't help but wonder, is that coincidence, or another example of power working overtime to erase inconvenient truths before they stick? Fans are pointing out how Jay-Z always seems to linger at the edges of chaos, but rarely ever lands in the center of it. Whether it's slick legal maneuvers or the sheer weight of his influence, the outcome is always the same. His name gets cleared, his empire stays untouchable, and the whispers fade into the background. But this time, the Titan rumor refuses to disappear, and it's forcing people to connect dots across decades of scandals that once seemed like random noise. The question now isn't just, is Titan his child? It's bigger than that. Does this whole situation expose a blueprint Jay-Z has perfected, a playbook for dodging consequences over and over again? On the other side, we've got Beyoncé, the queen of silence. She doesn't do messy interviews. She doesn't rant on social media. She doesn't hand-feed explanations. Instead, she moves in shadows, dropping albums laced with coded confessions for fans to obsess over. Lemonade was her answer to infidelity, a cultural reset without ever once saying Jay-Z's name in an interview. So here's the burning question. Will she address Titan in her next masterpiece? Or will she double down on silence, refusing to validate the scandal with even a whisper? The world is watching her next move like hawks, waiting to see if her film projects, her lyrics, her performances slip in messages about betrayal, motherhood, and fractured sisterhood. History tells us Beyoncé won't grab a mic and pour her heart out. She'll drip-feed us symbolism, and it'll be up to the world to decode whether those rumors carved scars she can't cover. Because for her, the stakes couldn't be higher. Her entire empire isn't just built on music, but on image. She's been sold as flawless, unshakable, the wife who endured betrayal and came out stronger, the friend who lifted Kelly and Michelle alongside her. But if Titan truly is Jay-Z's son, that myth crumbles. Suddenly, she's not the woman in control. She's the woman betrayed. Betrayed by her husband, possibly by her best friend, and maybe even by her mother. And for a dynasty built on perfection, repairing that illusion might be even harder than saving the marriage itself. Fans are already predicting that if Beyoncé responds, it won't be small, it'll be seismic. A visual album drenched in symbolism, a cryptic lyric that sends shockwaves, or maybe even a dramatic shift in how she stands beside Jay-Z in public. Because when she dropped Lemonade, it wasn't just an album. It became a movement, a cultural earthquake that gave us memes, mantras, and millions of women re-examining their own relationships. Now imagine that same power unleashed on betrayal within her inner circle. The impact wouldn't just shake the music industry. It would rattle the very idea of celebrity loyalty, family, and brand image. And so here we are, stuck in the eye of the storm. A whirlwind of speculation, unanswered questions, and an empire wobbling on its throne. If Titan's paternity is tied to Jay-Z, then the Carter Knowles dynasty is staring down its greatest test yet. Can Beyoncé ever forgive a betrayal this layered? Can Destiny's Child still be remembered as the symbol of sisterhood we all believed it was? And maybe the most haunting question of them all, how long has this secret been hiding in plain sight? And who within their circle worked to keep it buried? So now we ask you, is this the scandal that finally cracks Beyoncé's empire wide open? Or will it be another rumor swept away by silence, spectacle, and the power of carefully controlled image? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story, oh, it's far from over. If you found this story as gripping as we did, make sure you like, share, and leave a comment with your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. Until then, stay sharp, stay aware, and keep your eyes open, guys.